incredible, and I appreciate you more than maybe some people would like to express. So they do. Seriously.
You're never gonna forgive me for Star Wars.
That sucks. No, you're gonna hold that. It's not in the camera.
He's kind of.
No, it's in the camera. Look at him.
Yeah, look at
He's peering up.
Alright.
No. What you should do is sit in that chair and move him there.
That might work.
Yeah, no, it will. Oh, I swear to you. Look at that. Look at him. Look. And it's almost perfect.
Oh, dude, he fits in there really nice.
Boom. The aesthetic. All right. I just talked to Grayson. You traveled all the way from Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
5-hour drive maybe.
Roughly. Well, we had to stop. We went and picked up Homestar, so that was an extra like hour and 30.
Where is he?
Warsaw. It's roughly a 6 hour or 6
Yeah,
hour
that's a
drive.
bit of a detour. But even so, we're glad you guys did that.
Yeah, it was fun. We one of the big things that Fort Wayne's always been about is just traveling to all the other scenes in Indiana and trying to help everyone get better and unify the scene and everything.
Every time I interview you and Grayson, it's like I'm interviewing. There is, in some respects, when I talk about the scene and when I talk about like stuff each region does, you guys are like just saying the same kind of things, and it means that it means you guys are both being genuine.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Nick and I helped each other grow as players significantly. Before I moved to Decatur, which is near Fort Wayne, the most, I'd say, consistent practice that I'd ever gotten was roughly 3 years into me playing, 3 or 4, whenever I lived in West Lafayette for college. But I took college pretty seriously, and I didn't have a car, so I didn't play nearly as often as I wish I had. But until then, like the 3 years leading up into that, and then a few years after, like maybe a year after that too, when I went back to where I was from, I literally just played alone.
Yeah, Grayson's mentioned that you used to be kind of a lab monster because he had no one to play with.
Oh yeah, well this was prior to 20XX being a thing, so my punish game didn't really improve too much because of it, but my movement did. And one of the things that I was talking to a couple people about today actually is that I would learn like every character that I thought I might see myself, and just like watch videos of them to be able to play them, and then from there, whenever I did get to go to a tournament, which was probably as early as twice a week because there was bi-weeklies at Purdue, but as most as like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I would just play these other characters against people and to figure out what these smarter people, these people have been playing for longer, these older people than me, how they deal with things. And then I just kind of like, I just reverse engineered matchups to like learn how to play it. And I'll be honest, I wasn't that successful because that doesn't teach you how to adapt. That doesn't teach you any of that, you know. Like you have an idea, right? Yeah, you have like a skeleton idea of how the matchup works, but it's all about it's all about the changes that happen in a matchup. Conditioning, you don't learn how to condition a player from practicing tech skill with a bunch of different characters. You don't learn any of that, especially when you're 15. Like if you're 15 and you don't play with other people, honestly, that probably stunted my growth a lot. Besides tech skill,
I identify. I don't play with a lot of people nowadays, and it's hurting me a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, but nowadays you have 20XX too, so at least you can have a sick punish game.
Not if you have a GameCube like me. Oh no, TE.
Yeah.
It's being shit.
Well, I actually like inherited a few broken Wii's that I'm pretty sure that only their disc readers don't work.
Yeah, that's the same with mine, but I don't have the effort to USB drive it.
Come on, just make someone do it for you. I'll do it for you.
No.
Yeah, he'll do it for you. Look, he said he'd do it right now. Well, obviously not right now. He'll do
I
it.
don't have it on me. All right, I'll consider it.
But I mean, it'll help you out a lot.
It will.
And
It
like
really will.
I know you know where I'm coming from because you'll sit here, you'll play Falco, you'll play Fox, you'll play Sheik. You have pretty good control over these characters, but it's the punish game that's lacking. It's like
You've seen me play. My movement's fine.
Yeah.
My neutral's fine. My punish game's awful.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And it's because I don't have anyone to play with right now.
Yep.
But I know where you're coming from
Right.
in the come up.
Yeah.
The Voorhese come up.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the whole Nick thing. About a year after me living at Purdue, and I was in college back home because they had an Ivy Tech there too.
Yeah.
I moved to Fort Wayne or to Decatur, and I'll be honest, I lost like the first 3 tournaments that I played in, and honestly, like they were better than expected.
Was this back in the days of AC?
He attended a couple of them, but he had already like kind of started.
So who's winning the tournaments up there?
Grayson and Ovaltine High, mainly.
Ovaltine
And this was before I knew how to fight Sheik or Marth. So
Yeah, still don't know how to fight Marth with Fox.
no, I'm learning.
You're
That's
definitely
Pikachu's
getting
helped me a
better
lot
at it.
to understand, like, you cut your options in half, and then you understand how important picking the
I
right
just
one
remember
is.
someone explaining, it was like Lance or someone explaining Voorhese to me, and he's like, oh, he's amazing except against Marth.
Yeah.
But obviously,
Falco gives me
it's different.
a hard time too. But moving to there, I wasn't used to like fighting people in the grand finals. Like the highlight of my career up until that point was winning an SSBO where there was like 13 entrants, and I beat a dude named I Am the Microwave, and he was literally the first Campy Fox I'd ever fought. And this was back when I played Ganon, and then like I switched to Fox.
you played Ganon.
Oh, I was a Ganon main for the longest time, dude. I regret it. Dude, honestly, it was so weird because back then people like knew me and liked me and all this stuff. Like if you go watch one of the only videos of me playing Ganon on YouTube has a comment like 5 to 7 years ago from Bizarro Flame before we all knew who he was. He's like, "Oh man, I love this video. You're amazing." And it's like, and I met Bizarro Flame at Big House, and Grayson and I did a teams money match versus him and Eichelman, and they slaughtered us.
Really?
Yeah, but
Damn.
he asked what my tag was, and I told him Voorhese. He's like Jason Voorhese 3-2 right? I was like, yeah, and he's like, dude, I remember you from a long time ago as a Ganon player and all that stuff. But I was like
That's
I said,
crazy.
I was all focused on movement.
So you were like, you probably inspired some of him.
Well, some of the people I think that he looked up to later on that played Ganon, like there's this dude named I was like Jace Grice or something. I don't know, but he was like real slippery. And then I think Bizarro was he Ganon on Ice was Bizarro Flame.
Ganon Ice was Bizarro.
Yeah, that came out like a couple years after I quit Ganon.
Oh.
But like Ledge Hop Waveland Moonwalk.
That was you?
I made that. Like
You did?
Yeah, there's a video on YouTube where that's that.
Yo, confirmed. Voorhese is the guy who made, what is it, Ganon on a waxed
I have no
floor.
idea.
Not quite ice yet.
It doesn't help anything, dude. You can just move around and look cool. That's it.
But you look cool.
Yeah,
That's what
I
matters.
mean that's all you can hope for
So,
when you play a character
I
like
was
Ganon.
talking to Grayson about some old school players.
Sure.
I always talk about this in interviews.
On who?
I always talk about this in
Oh, in
interviews.
interviews, right.
So I always want to know.
Okay.
So we talked about AC.
Yeah.
Talked about, you teamed with Raptor Bootsy at Jap 3, right? I know he went to Jap 3. But I'm pretty sure he teamed with Raptor Bootsy.
I think he teamed with Reflectagon.
Really?
I think so.
I thought I remember hearing Raptor Bootsy and being like, that's weird.
No. He teamed with Banana Hammock,
Oh.
aka Fearless.
Yeah, I know
Fear.
Banana Hammock.
Sure. Dave and
Yeah.
they teamed together.
Huh.
I
Interesting.
believe.
But and then I also talked about Tink,
Sure.
who's in and out of the scene,
As usual.
doing us proud, but
Yeah,
not often.
Yeah, I don't know.
That Rubicon performance, I didn't see it, but
I mean, the notable people he beat were was Lance, and then who else?
that's a good point.
I'm serious. Like,
No,
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I'm not trying to fire
I just
shots or
remember
anything.
that he beat Lance, and I know
I
that.
think he beat somebody from Illinois also.
Was it a big name?
I think it might have been. I don't remember.
Well, we'll search it later. But the
Yeah.
point is, like, if you can get fifth at Rubicon after being cold for like months and then years.
Sure, yeah. I mean, allegedly he plays like locals and like some small regional thing. I don't ever see the results from it, but he says he plays in these tournaments and wins them, and then he got fifth at Rubicon. So I mean, he clearly keeps up to a degree.
I'm just glad that he still identifies as one of us.
Sure, yeah. I'm pretty sure history says that he was originally a Fort Wayne player.
Probably.
Like he invented the Fort Wayne scene.
That's crazy.
Like he taught AC how to play, I believe.
We're going deeper.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny.
And then there's we talked a little about C-Kid,
Oh yeah.
the man who I really want to come back to the scene. Not for him, for us.
For everybody else, dude.
For us, dude.
The real Midwest Guardian.
Absolutely. The guy who could really give us street cred.
Dude, he infuriates all of us, dude. I remember, like, I heard about how everyone's like, oh yeah, he doesn't really play, so we don't really see him play. We don't know how good he is. I heard like a couple months ago, he ran a rotation with Kells and Lance in it for 3 hours without losing a game.
I remember hearing about that. He's hosted some Smash Fest
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I missed it. I think I was planning on going to Rubicon. I couldn't go to it, but after that, we were gonna hang out and play.
Well, I mean, the fact that he's starting to at least do things. Like,
yeah. Well, no, he's played nonstop, dude.
Really?
Yeah, he plays all the time. He just doesn't go to tournaments.
No!
Yeah, like he knows.
It's
Like,
not right.
He's been practicing tech skill and stuff. I already like got shield dropping and all that stuff down.
Seriously?
Yeah, like he understands
So
the game.
He's an old school player who's known for his smarts.
Yep.
Has improved his tech skill and now knows how to shield drop.
Yeah. Back in the day, like prior to him getting good, he was a real technical, mindless fox, is what they said, you know. And then I talked to him about one time. He said it just clicked, and the game just started making a lot more sense. And then he just kind of slowed it down.
Then he wrote the
just
Fox
let
Guide,
people
dude.
let people beat themselves. So,
And then he wrote the Fox Guide, dude.
yeah, and it's like over 271 pages if you put it in Microsoft Word. I think.
It's ridiculous,
It's
and it's so like every single word of it is, you can tell he was just thinking.
Passionate, yeah.
And he's like, there's passion, there's sense,
And he's eloquent.
and it still works.
Yeah.
It gets updated every year.
Yeah, or at least there's a big enough. I'm sure he
Update.
probably makes notes and then.
He's probably like, when shield dropping
It's
became a
important
thing, he
now,
probably
yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
this and stuff
The
like
meta
that.
changed.
And shortens probably are in there.
Mm.
I haven't taken a big look at it, but I will say that it would be nice if we had someone active in the scene in Indiana, someone who's notable out of state other than ICG,
Yeah.
because it doesn't really paint the best picture.
No.
But alas, can't have everything. So, Smashville 3.0, how'd it go for you? Or 3.0? Well, I know how it went for you, but
3.0?
yeah, no, 4.0. Sorry.
Oh, 4.0. Okay.
Okay, first question. I asked this at 3.0 too. Of the sets that you won, what were the ones where you were the most nervous? So the closest sets. The ones where they were, nail biting, you were doubting yourself maybe.
Well, I talk to people a lot that are new about mentality and about how in order to like actually improve, you need to lose your ego and stuff like that. Like, and the thing is before I moved to Fort Wayne, which I was talking about earlier, and how Nick and I both improved drastically because of that. My mentality was always like, full of self-doubt and all this other stuff. But it took people like Cunning and Fro, who is now in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
They would just tell you like you have to believe you can do it. You have to not get to you. And it's hard because like you'll sit there and you'll be like, oh man, well, if I start messing up, what's gonna happen? Or you start thinking about these other results happening. Like regardless of how the game goes, you start thinking, oh man, what are people gonna think about me as a player?
Yeah.
All that stuff. And like, it's like whenever you're worried about like choking, right?
Mm-hmm.
You sit there and you think about, oh man, I hope I don't choke. You're letting that creep into your head, and so you have to tell yourself many times that not to worry about it. Just play. And then eventually, it actually doesn't happen anymore.
It's not instant.
But yeah, it takes a lot of work. And like in my mind, like deep down in the past, before I moved to Fort Wayne, I was like, damn, what am I? Like I can tell myself that all I want, but if I sit there and tell myself, don't worry about it, like I'm already thinking about it, like actively. And then, but eventually, you'll just stop worrying so much. I know Reed, up and comer.
Hope, yeah.
Super conscious about everything.
He's played a lot of competitive games.
He's been, I think he's been top 107 different.
Crossfire, Age of Mythology are the ones I remember.
Crossfire, Age of Mythology, Tactics Arena.
Yeah.
He was 2100 ELO in chess, which is incredible.
Yes.
I don't know if you follow chess, but that's good.
I don't.
That's like.
But I looked it up because he told me.
Almost FIDE master.
Yeah.
Like 2400 is like Grandmaster, I believe.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, he talked to me about it. He said, "Oh yeah, I played it and everything, and I played from a little bit of a young age. He wouldn't really consider himself like a prodigy or anything like that, and he didn't really have coaches either. But he thought about it. He's 2100 rated, and he said, well, let me look down there and see how much work I have to put in to continue being more successful. Nah. And he quit.
Yeah.
That's how cold turkey. You quit chess when you're 2100 ELO. That's something, dude. And like, he's considered dropping like Crossfire for Melee and stuff just because he likes Melee. He thinks Melee's a great game.
Yeah. He does fall into bad mindsets sometimes, though.
Really?
Well, it's more the fact that, like, we'll be talking about things theoretically do in a situation, and he'll bring up, like, but what if they, smash the eye tag, blank, and
Sure.
then do this. I'm like, well, if they do that, then there's not a really way you can close out this stock.
Okay.
Or he'll start thinking about theoreticals.
Yeah,
and,
he might delve too deep into it, but that's because he's learning.
His mentality is from other games, which is correct, and it's like Crossfire. It's like execution is everything.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, in a shooter, there's one objective, and it's pretty straightforward. You kill the guy.
Right.
And here you're kind of trying to do that, but there's so many ways
a lot
to
of
do
little
it.
goals you gotta reach all
And
the
you
way.
can, you know, it's only a certain amount of damage a person can take in Crossfire. Well, in Melee, I can go to 999. As long as you haven't taken that stock, boy, it's still there.
Yeah.
And so you got to think about it a little differently.
Sure.
Execution's not everything.
No.
But
Yeah, but
it's
see,
just
like, I think that's just
territory.
inexperience for him.
He's getting better.
But
at
his
it.
mentality, though, when it comes to what he thinks about and how he trains outside the game, I honestly, like, anytime I have, like, any bit of doubt that starts to creep in or whatever, like, not too long ago, I played really bad in a, like, some, like, weekly in South Bend.
Sure.
And I lost to Onisser and to Jay. And that was the first time I'd lost to either of them.
Wow.
Yeah. And leading up to that tournament, there was 2 days in a row where I was practicing and my tech skill was just off and I was feeling cloudy. I would like sit there and know what I need to do to adjust and then just not do it. And it's like, well, I'll go to the tournament anyway, you know. And then I got third. And then, like, salt aside, I honestly, like, I talked to you before about how, like, before, like, self-doubt and stuff always, like, crept up on me.
Mm-hmm.
I started to feel it just a little bit, and, like, the first person I thought to talk to about it was Reed. Because Reed has
He's such a good mentality.
such a background, and he's just full of knowledge for that kind
He's
of
got
stuff.
a lot of experience in it.
Yeah,
He's used to being under pressure in various situations. And
So, yeah, I mean, like, talked to him about it,
Mhm.
and just fixed my mindset for a little while, just stayed positive regardless of how things went, and then it went away.
nice.
So,
That's actually...
but, like, those are the kind of things that, you know, I've always adopted from Purdue originally, and, like, I tell people, you know, you gotta do it, and then they're like, well, you know, but I'm thinking about it anyway. I'm like, do you trust me? I was there, but now it doesn't happen. Like,
I still have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I lose a lot of matchups just because I think of, like, the ramifications of me losing
sure,
it. It's
yeah.
like, just
And
gotta
those
play.
are little things you can't think
Just
about.
gotta play.
Mhm.
It's a game, man. Just
But
play the game.
back to your original question, I think
Yeah.
that probably when I was playing against Photonic a little bit,
Really? His punishes were
his
pretty
tech
good.
chases are pretty good, and he beat Viper Boy, and I was like, yeah, that's a little surprising.
Mhm.
But then I thought, you know, I played him a couple weeks ago, and the first game was real close, and then the second game I 3-stocked him.
And the third game was pretty close.
Well, that tournament.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that tournament.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I'm like, I give it. And last time I was here, actually, I lost to Luigi Gauchard in a best 2 out of 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he walks up to me and he's like, hey man, I'm gonna beat you up today, or something like that, something to that effect. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. And then like we sit down, and like the games are pretty close, and I end up getting 2-1. And then I'm sitting there, I walk into the bathroom, and I'm like, man, I gotta play him again. I know I've been thinking about it, obviously, how it went, what I need to be doing differently.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of those times, like I said, where like you feel a little clouded, like you have ideas, but like more things surprise you than it should, and you don't actually make the adjustments as fast as you'd like to, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, wait a minute, we're playing a 3 out of 5 now. I got so much time. Like I do whatever I want. And then I just like got confidence from it. So like,
Did you end up doing it?
yeah, I think I 3-1'd him.
Ooh, nice.
But the game I lost was on FD with Pikachu, just because I don't like that state of the matchup with
No,
Fox.
it's-
I'll give it a shot. But yeah, like mentality plays a lot in it, and you have to stay positive. And I wouldn't say like he got into my head when he was like, "Yeah, I'm gunning for you today," but I don't know, like it didn't instill confidence in me.
Maybe that interaction affected it a little.
Maybe
You hadn't talked to him
some
before.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I don't want to say that's all it was. I mean, he played well. He beat Rick that same day, I think. So,
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Was that break-in?
Yeah,
I didn't go
yeah,
break
it was
in.
Rick in. So he beat Rick too. Also, I mean, he beat him also, and then, but then I was like, come on, I played this matchup enough. I could do it. And then like I was like, I got a 3 out of 5. So I have my counter picks I want. I can play it as slow as I want, and then I'll get past it.
Gotcha.
And like, yeah, like I wasn't really nervous that I was going to like lose today,
Mm-hmm.
but I was a little bit worried about just like execution, because I'm having a controller issue.
I can tell some of your wave shines were really stunted.
Yeah, a little bit of that. But the main problems that my controllers give me now is when I try to fast fall, it'll jump because it just like snaps it up hard enough.
Oh.
And like I did like reverse side
Reed
Bs.
had a problem with his controller because he started when he tried to retreat laser, it wouldn't work because it was flicking.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. Well, see, now originally I thought it was because the controller was new and the stick was just like
Hadn't been broken.
sure. And I was like, yeah, it'll fix itself. However, now I've had it for like 4 months. It's got the biggest dead zone out of any of the controllers I've ever had on both sticks.
Oh man.
And it still does the jump when I fast fall. It reverses my neutral Bs a lot. And I don't know if you probably might have saw it when I was playing as Fox. I'll like drill laser.
Yeah, no, you were screwing up. Like
But
I was like, oh, Voorhese's meant to shine because it's guaranteed.
Right, but what's happening is that I'm going from down to side to a direction to go for a wave dash, but it's registering it as neutral, and I just laser instead. And I'm just trying to do like running shine,
crazy.
run, crouch, shine, and
Yeah.
lasers, like crouch laser. Like,
So, what happened to your old controller?
it died. It just
Stopped working as well.
I couldn't hit angles anymore. Like, basically, I was having just a little bit of trouble with it, and then I had Grayson clean it.
Yeah.
And I mean, he didn't like sabotage or anything like that, obviously, but I just couldn't get angles with Pikachu anymore. I just couldn't get them. And then here lately, like I'll get like dead angles occasionally with that too, and like it's a little frustrating.
We saw that today.
But I'm like in a position where it's like, well, I got tournament after tournament after tournament. Do I break in another controller?
Honestly, it might be.
I need to, but I don't know. I want to put it off. I just hope it fixes itself, but I know it won't.
So, I got to wrap up this interview pretty quickly.
Sure.
This is the last one. Went way too long.
Yeah.
So, in closing, anything you want to say to the streams? Winner of Smashville, winner of this Mario Trophy. Look at him. He's handsome.
How happy
You're
he
going to
is.
have your name on there.
Again.
Definitely the man with the most Smashville Cups right now.
Currently, yeah. Maybe if Lance would have showed up, he could have stopped that.
Or Rick.
Well, Rick wouldn't have affected. He wouldn't have had the most.
He wouldn't have had the most, but he would have made it a tie.
Yeah, it would have been.
That would have been crazy.
It's already a tie.
It isn't anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, man. The man in the Pikachu hat stole it all.
Yeah, honestly, I was really excited for those guys to come.
Those two.
I was grinding the Falco matchup like you wouldn't believe.
Ready for the bird.
That was the goal.
I mean,
neither of them
it's-
showed up.
If Rick and Lance showed up, you'd have 3 Falcos for contending for this trophy.
Yep.
You were labbing the right matchup, sir.
I was.
You weren't expecting upsets.
Yeah, and actually, conveniently for me, being projected 4th with the rest of OP being here, gives me the opportunity to play Lance in winter semis, and then the winner of Reeve and Rick, which historically has always been Reeve to my knowledge.
They've gone back and forth. Reeve has the distinct advantage.
I think I don't know if he's dropped a set.
He's dropped, I know, 1 set.
Was it like a money match, or?
I'm pretty sure it was 1 set.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I do know. I don't think it's that polarized, but I know Reeve has a winning record on him.
Yeah.
You know, like overwhelmingly so.
Yeah. Well, and that used to be the case between Lance and I, and I don't know if.
Sorry. It's fine. I think Rick beat Reeve.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Okay, whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah, Lance has been giving me lots of trouble for the last couple of years. And when I knew that I was going to be getting sponsored, and I set aside a job that I was working like 1 day a week and just started practicing more and studying more and stuff. I actually got my first set off Lance and probably, well, I guess there was one at like Salt Shaker, but that tournament was like so hot and wacky that I don't even want to. I don't even.
Let's
consider it
not
being a thing.
talk about that tournament.
But I'd say my first win in a couple years was at Smash Hit.
Oh,
And then he came back and beat me in losers. Okay.
but you got that set.
Okay. Yeah, I got one. And then we played at Kilroy,
Uh-huh.
and he beat me again. And then I grinded a little bit more, and I played him at Save the Space Animals, and I won that one. So I've won 2 out of the last 4 sets with him. And prior to that, I had lost like all of them for multiple years.
Yeah,
So
I remember.
but
At
the
least
thing
the
is that
last
Lance and Rick are so drastically different in how they play that preparing for Lance almost puts me in a disadvantageous position because I expect a lot
Because
different things
Lance
for
is
Rick.
slower. He's more
He plays the same game as me. We both play a really slow, calculated position-based
just
game.
thinks, and then Rick is just like in
Rick
your
just
face.
goes in on you all the time.
No time to react, only read. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I was talking to my crew about what I was going to study, and I'll study like PP for Lance, but I'll study Mango for Rick because I don't know if you follow the FGC at all.
A little.
A guy named Laugh, Ryu player from Street Fighter, has a theory that he went over with his YouTube channel, which I think is called A-Core Gaming. And
Okay.
I highly recommend it. It's not Smash related exactly. There's a little bit of tidbits for Smash that are in there, footage from tournaments and stuff like that. Like it accepts that Melee is a fighting game, but the videos are centered around outside things that affect the game. For example, sitting next to each other. Okay, so it goes over stuff like that, right?
It's big.
So Laugh talked about how each player is formed basically out of triangle, on how much they fit in the triangle, and the triangle for him, which is maybe a little rough through translation because I believe he's a Japanese player, and that is, what is it? Intellect, heart, and the body. And what that means is the intellect plays it like they're lab monsters. They sit there and they study matchups like crazy. The body is the technical stuff. So like Rick gets a hold of you, you're in a lot of trouble if you're a fast forward.
He's gonna press a lot of buttons, and
Right.
then I guess heart would be wait,
Hard reads.
and also composure.
Sure.
I would put composure
Yeah.
in that because that's definitely
Yeah.
a part of the game.
But not every player, obviously you can't be maxed out on all of them, and each player kind of has their own little thing. And I would say that mine kind of fits on the intellect body side. Lance fits on the more so on the heart and intellect side.
And then Rick is
Heart and body. Not to say that he's not smart at the game, because he absolutely
but
is.
he's young, and especially young to the game.
But he'll call out a full hop like, boom, and then you'll die.
And
because-
you feel awful
you'll
because
die.
you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. So it's funny because the best three players in Indiana, or well, I don't know, Tink's might be
Let's
up there.
not count Tink
Yeah, well,
because
Sure.
you know
He
he's weird.
doesn't really play much with us. But out of the three of us, we all fall on exactly one turn on the triangle to the side.
ridiculous.
So it's a little neat, and I honestly feel like I have a better matchup against Lance, and I think that Lance has a better matchup against Rick, and I think that I also have a better matchup against Reeve, but I'm gonna call that because the character. Like if I played Fox, he'd beat me up. But I think Reeve consistently beats Rick. So this tournament had it gone the way it was supposed to before the Blizzard hit, and destroyed everything for me. I wanted to win it with all of them here. That's my goal. Like winning a tournament doesn't. I care about how I play, and I care about whose name I take.
A trophy's worth nothing if there was no competition.
Yeah, I don't want to say that.
But no, it's just
That's
it's
not
an
what I'm
analogy.
trying to
It's
imply.
an
Okay,
analogy.
sure.
You wanted the best this region could offer.
Yeah.
You got some of the best
Yeah.
this region can offer.
Sure.
We have no Kentucky, almost no Kentucky.
Yeah, there's a
We have no Lance and no Rick.
Or Rick, yeah.
So,
But
I don't know.
had I been able to edge it out versus Lance again, which I know is entirely possible, the confidence helps a lot,
here we go.
then Rick and Reeve historically goes in Reeve's favor,
And you could have beaten him.
and historically, lately, my sets go in favor over Reeve. So the best setup possible is when I get projected
Dude,
the lowest out of the four.
This game's got matchups on matchups.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
nuts.
silly. All right, I have to let you go.
Absolutely.
So,
Thanks for having us.
what do you mean? Thanks for having us. I drove down here too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're kind of, you're helping with this.
I talk over video games, but yes, thank you, and thank you for coming here and showing us how to play Melee.
I try. I definitely want to focus on helping everybody improve in the area.
You and Grayson are really good at that.
Yeah. I don't sit down and play with newer players nearly as often as he does. But I think that I'd probably do more Facebook.
You definitely
Messages
like.
than
I just
he
remember
does.
in the early parts of Indie Smash, he would come on with a set that he wanted us to like see if anything you could have done was better. And all of us were like, no, because you're a god. It was like with Yoshido or something.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
it was like a set. You won it too. And I was just like,
Well, that doesn't matter. It's all about how
I
you
know,
play. You gotta
but
know
it was that we were so young that all of us were like, well, you won it.
Yeah.
But even so, like, I think you're definitely.
Yeah, I run in that when I post on the Pikachu threads and stuff originally, and they're just like, I don't have any advice for you, and I'm like, well, anything. as long as it gets me thinking, that's possible. It helps me out.
I just remember hearing Lance talk about you on Smashboard and being like, yeah, Voorhese talked about all these like crazy things, all this crazy tech, and everyone said he was crazy, and then they ended up all doing it.
Dude, like 3 years later, dude.
Like, yeah, so ahead of the curve, and no one
when
had
it comes to
listened
tech
him.
skill, when it comes to tech skill.
Yeah.
Had I lived in had I lived somewhere like Michigan even, or like Illinois, I guarantee you, dude, I would be a top 100 player right now. I know.
I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised that you're not in consideration, and I'm surprised Lance.
Well,
isn't.
honestly, it's because I don't go to enough big tournaments.
It's true, but I mean, when I see Lance's performance, and especially
Lance is
him
good.
versus other people in the top 100,
Yeah.
it's pretty questionable, some of those placements.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like with the Team Optimal sponsorship, I think all 4 of us on the Melee side are going to be like, we're going to improve so much faster.
Well, I don't know about Ben, but I'm gonna try as hard as I possibly can on my end to put you guys on the spotlight, and I always have.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, we have some plans for that. We honestly have some plans in the works for that, and I think we're gonna start trying our hardest to become threats, national threats.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear, man.
Well, like I said, I grinded the Falco matchup more than I ever have, studied it more than I ever have, and then didn't get a fight in Falcos.
Not even Viper Boy.
No, not even Viper Boys.
Photonic did him dirty,
Yeah.
and then his own man did. All right, so
That's what happens when you retire, though.
good having you.
Hey, you too.
It's been great. Yeah, absolutely. He takes home the trophy. He's not actually taking it home because
I am
he
not.
doesn't want to pay a like $400 fee if it goes missing.
If I mess it up or something like that, I don't want to deal with that.